INEC has done effectively is to violate the directive of the appeal court, and that is criminal, because if you are talking about contempt, that is what INEC has done. INEC today is behaving like a criminal organization. Because, and Amokuto is a chief criminal.
I raised a point earlier on this morning that I have a letter here which says Honorable Nafiu Bala resigned from the African Democratic Congress as national chairman on May 18, 2025. Now, there's another letter here dated October 10, 2025, which shows that INEC had been duly informed and that INEC received this notification 12th August. Subsequently, Nafiu Gombe went to court September 14. So, how do you intend to resolve this? The other issue I raised was that you were saying it's the APC that is behind this. And wouldn't that be contemptuous of the court of law? Because the courts have their right to take their own decisions. Do you have any proof that it is the APC that is behind this current travail of your party?
Well, thank you very much. Let me start from the basis, your takeoff point, which is the fundamental question of whether, as at the time that the coalition was joining the ADC, whether Nafiu Gombe was an official of the ADC. The answer is no. From the letter that you just referenced, he resigned his position May 17 as a deputy chairman, one of the 6 deputy chairmen, actually. He's not, it's when he's vice chairman that you can say he's one of the 6 deputy chairmen. So he resigned his position on May 17, and INEC was duly notified. And on August 12, 2025, INEC received a notice. So INEC knows that as at May 12, 2025, Nafiu Gombe was no longer an official of the African Democratic Congress. Now, that's a different matter entirely. We'll come back to it. The most important point is, it's not whether the plaintiff lawyers, that's Nafiu Gombe's lawyers, or ADC David Mark's lawyers are writing to INEC. The most important thing is that the Court of Appeal made a ruling. And the summary of it, the consequential part of that ruling, apart from saying, no, your appeal was hasty, go back to the Federal High Court, is status quo antebellum be maintained. Now, this is the crux of the matter. Nafiu Gombe's lawyers are interpreting status quo antebellum to mean the position of things, state of things before he went to court, and on July 2nd. Yeah, also on September 2nd, sorry. And that is the position that INEC is saying, that status quo antebellum mean the position before he went to court on September 2nd. But this is not the correct representation of what happened. On July 29th, ADC had a NEC meeting in Abuja, attended by the Independent National Electoral Commission. And in that NEC meeting, one of the key resolutions of that NEC meeting is, and I'll read, it says, dissolution of the National Working Committee. This is NEC meeting of July 29th, 2025. It says, September 29th, 2025. It said the current National Working Committee be dissolved with immediate effect, and that the already ratified caretaker committee, that's David Mark and Raoul, shall henceforth assume full responsibility for overseeing the affairs of the party pending the next national convention. This is a decision of the National Executive Committee of the party, duly attended by INEC. And it was on the basis of that INEC recognized the leadership of David Mark and uploaded it on their website. Now, if the Court of Appeal is saying go back to the status quo, Nafiu Bala Gombe went to court on the 2nd of, on the 2nd of September. That is, and this next meeting happened on the 29th of July. He went to court on September 2nd. INEC is now saying, no, our recognition of David Mark came on the 9th of September. That is after he had gone to court. But that's an administrative issue. Whether you recognized it in 2026 or in December, it does not matter. Is the action was taken on July 29th and concluded. and INEC knew about this, and it was on that basis that INEC acted. So the definition of status quo antebellum to date from 2nd of September, it is dubious, and it is contrary to what the Court of Appeal ruled. Now, let's even assume, for the purpose of argument, without conceding, that we go back to status quo antebellum before even David Mark comes. That means there was no time that ADC did not have a leadership. The situation that INEC has created today is a situation that has left ADC without leadership. Certainly, that's not what the Court of Appeal envisaged. As at the time that NEC was coming in, and that NEC meeting held, at the time that Nafi Gombe went to court, ADC had a leadership. But today, with the action of INEC, ADC does not have a leadership. So if we must go back even further back, it means that if we must maintain that you discountenance the outcome of the NEC meeting of July 29, it means that Ralph Nwosu is the chairman of ADC. If you say that, oh, the NEC process, let's discountenance, let's disregard it, it means that Ralph Nwosu is it. So the court will not have envisaged a situation where we'll find ourselves today, where ADC, according to INEC, does not have leadership. So what INEC has done effectively is to violate the directive of the appeal court, and that is criminal, because if you are talking about contempt, that is what INEC has done. INEC today is behaving like a criminal organization. Because, and Amokuto is a chief criminal. Because what the Court of Appeal said is maintain status quo. So this distorted interpretation that is almost ridiculous cannot have been envisaged.
But why do you say it's the APC that is behind it?
No, we know. You see,
court of law.
No.
And what do you intend to do? Go back to court? And how do you intend to manage Nafi Gombe? This is politics. You could have managed the man better.
It's not a question of the Yorubas have a proverb that you can only wake a man that is sleeping, not a man that is pretending to be sleeping. If Nafi Gombe wanted to marry, look, you are not. We need to emphasize this point that when did he resign? As at July 17, he was no longer an official of the party, and INEC knew this. So we're saying that he has no locus. You have to be an official of the party and it is a settled matter in court that the issue of leadership is wholly an internal affairs of the political parties. And the NEC is the next most senior organ of the party, next to the convention. Right. And the NEC said that the executive that he belonged, even if he said he did not resign, the executive that he belonged has been duly dissolved. Right. So on what basis is INEC recognizing him as a faction? Because INEC knew since August 12th that they received a notice of his resignation that is no longer an official of the party. So on what basis is he recognized? So recognizing him as a faction means that INEC is taking a side, INEC is partisan, and they have decided to jump into the race. And we know what this is all about. So asking me to come here and be showing you proof, what proof will I show you?
All right, Mr.
So we see how this play out. We know this was coming. When I came here and I was...
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just because of our time, I'm so sorry to interject, but because of our time, still on this matter of Nafi Gombe. Yes, I hear you that he resigned, so he shouldn't be recognized. But the truth is that you must understand. I mean, I'm sure you understand and recognize the fact that he is a thorn in the... At least he will pose a problem to the ADC. And in the era, if you meant to politically manage this, would it not have favored the ADC, if I can use that term, to have, given him the promise that was made to him when he resigned as deputy national chairman to be treasurer, just ahead of elections and to manage this matter politically? I hear you, he resigned, he's no longer there, but in the interest of the politics of the ADC, in the time frame that you have, which is limited, shouldn't this matter have been managed politically, by the ADC itself in its internal politics?
Yeah, I mean, thank you very much. Yes, efforts were made. I'm aware that a lot of efforts were made to stop this matter from degenerating to this level. But you see, once the matter assume a different connotation or different interpretation, and there are people who see an opportunity in this, then it's difficult for someone that is determined to be recalcitrant because he allowed himself to be used for all the process that has happened. We know this gentleman we know he can't afford to hire one senior advocate of Nigeria. Then suddenly you have 3 senior advocates of Nigeria representing him and writing to INEC on his behalf. Come on. And we are still saying that we should show evidence where this is coming from. The most important point today is that all this is part of an orchestration by the ruling party to destabilize opposition. And it is very clear. Why is all this suddenly escalating a few days after we received Rabiu Kwankwaso in Kano? We all know that what is going on. But the most important point, we don't have APC they know what they are doing. But the most important point, they will come here, they will deny, they will say, oh, we are not part of it, let them go and solve their internal problem. We don't have an internal problem. The problem that we have is a problem that is orchestrated by the ruling party.
No, just very quickly, Malam Abdullahi.
Is that INEC has taken a position.
Yes. Before you to refine, just very quickly, because it's easy, and that's why Dr. Bate was asking for proof that the APC is behind this. It's easy for the ADC and opposition party members to point fingers at the APC. But do you not think that based on the mismanagement of the Nafiu Gombe matter, they saw a loophole and took advantage of it? So perhaps he wasn't recalcitrant from the beginning. They just saw a mismanagement opportunity and leveraged that. Could that not have been a possibility? And that is just talking about how, politics is done here in Nigeria, managing political disgruntlement internally within the party so you don't open the doors for the APC, for instance, to come in.
Well, I'm surprised a bit that you are so concerned with blaming ADC for mismanaging a situation that was definitely contrived. You are not talking about INEC. Okay. That's supposed to remain neutral, taking sides.
It's just a different side, sir. That's what I'm asking.
Deliberately distorting the ruling of the appeal court.
It's just a different side. It's just a different side.
Oh, ADC will have managed this differently. ADC will have, yeah. But that is not the issue. The issue is that today, INEC has been bamboozled, INEC has been intimidated, INEC has succumbed to intimidation, and they are determined to coronate President Bola Tinubu. We should not worry about conducting the election. As of today, we don't trust INEC. INEC has shown its hand that it is biased, it is partisan. So we are going to respond appropriately. They said they are not going to come and monitor we have a schedule. And one thing that we are forgetting is that Ekiti election is coming. Osun election is coming. By recognizing the leadership of the ADC, you are rendering it impossible for us to participate in that election. INEC brought a timeline that is difficult to meet. We have served them 21 days notice that our congresses start on the 9th of April. Now, by truncating the leadership of the ADC, now they are also disrupting the process. So you can see where all this is going. And if those processes are not completed, we will not be in a position to contest in 2027. So that's why I say it's a coronation process that they are planning.
Can you hear me? Let me cite these 2 scenarios. The Nafiu Gombe situation happened, and all of a sudden, in one fell swoop, INEC is now saying that voters should now go and revalidate their voting status. That's another one that we're not even talking about this morning. What's your read on these 2 matters? The Nafiu Gombe scenario, now they are saying voters should go and revalidate their voter status. What does all of this mean to you?
Thank you very much, Rufai. You see, all this is, when we keep saying that there's a plan to make President Bola Tinubu the only candidate on the ballot in 2027, people think we're being hysteric. They think, we're just banding conspiracy theory. All these points to INEC trying to create a chaos. Now, if you ask people to get people to register to vote is difficult enough. Now, asking every single person that has a voter's card to go back to their polling units to revalidate those cards a few months to the election is plain anarchy. And it's sounding uncomfortably familiar, only that the democratic context is what makes it strange. If we're in a military rule, we can understand it. But we find ourselves in a situation where everything is being done to ensure that the election in 2027 is a fait accompli and the Nigerians will be left with no option or no choice. But we've seen how this has ended in the past. So we are saying that we will go ahead with our congresses. We have given INEC 21 days notice. They have accepted the notice. So whether they come or not, we'll continue with our congresses. We'll continue with our convention. The issue of the registration that you mentioned, we issued a statement yesterday. We said INEC cannot do this because they know that it can only lead to one thing, chaos. And chaos and anarchy can only benefit only one party, that is the APC. And that is why I'm saying, if you're asking us to bring proof, I wonder what kind of proof you want us to bring. We are all Nigerians. We can see what is going on. We can see our democracy unraveling before our very eyes. And we're asking for proof as if we are foreigners. But it is very clear what is going on, and it should concern everybody.
Thank you so
much.
All
right. Well, thank you so very much, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, for your time with us this